Hi, today's podcast is going to be about changing perceptions. Changing perception is one of the biggest secrets in increasing your happiness. The first thing you have to do if you want to increase your happiness is you have to choose happiness. If you try and increase somebody's happiness who loves wallowing in their own self-pity or doesn't want to be happier, you will fail. Somebody has to want to be happier in order to actually increase their happiness in a sustainable way. Secondly, you have to understand that perception of the world is not the same as reality. So the way we all perceive the world is slightly different, otherwise there'd never be any arguments. We all have a slightly different view of the world, and what we need to do is choose the point of view that you want to have of the world, whether that's an optimistic view or a pessimistic view. And this has been underestimated in the past about how much control we actually have over how we perceive the world. I like the example of two businessmen who walk into a busy bank one lunchtime, both stood in the queue. Next minute, armed robber runs in, there's a scuffle at the counter, the firearm goes off accidentally, and both businessmen shot in the arm. They lay on the ground. One turns to the other and says, "I must be the most unlucky person in the world to be one of the only two people in the whole bank to be shot in the arm." The other man says, "I must be the luckiest man alive to have been shot in the arm and not in the head or the heart." And what we have here is a classic pessimist and optimist view. Exactly the same situation, yet these two people have experienced that situation in two very different ways, and their life after that day could be very different. The optimist may be thankful for every single day he has. The pessimist may see this as another event in the long line of misery that he's suffered so far. Thirdly, you have to encourage positive thoughts. Every time something bad happens to you, if you can try and think of any positives that could come out of that situation, so actively looking for the silver lining, what you're actually doing is stimulating the positive centres in your brain, which are held in a different area to your negative centres. And you are actually strengthening those pathways. So in future, you are going to be more resilient against adverse conditions. And fourthly, happy people don't have perfect lives. They just choose to see past the imperfections, and that's something really important. Everybody can be happy. Very poor people, people in very difficult situations, and retrospectively, people who on the outside appear to have very good lives can also be very unhappy. So a lot of your happiness is based on your perception and the perceptions that you choose to have of life.